Gonna have another look at my favourite plane of all time, the SR71. In case you don't know, the SR71 is a long-range, high-altitude Mach 3 plus strategic reconnaissance aircraft. It's now retired, but was the baddest aircraft on Earth. Fastest, holds all the records, and even now just looks futuristic and looks the business. Just love this plane. What we're interested in is its top speed, performance, maximum speed, 2,200 miles an hour, okay? So we've got that as a reference. Bear with me. So, the Blackbird going full speed for an hour, 2,200 miles an hour, it will travel 2,200 miles. So I'm going to put that in the Earth curve calculator. I want to see what the fastest plane on Earth has to deal with when it's going full speed, i.e. the amount of supposed curve drop it's going to encounter, or it did encounter. I put in an eye height of 0. I'm only tracing the ground, simulating what the SR71 is supposedly doing in the sky. Actually helping the globe believers out here by using a smaller radius, i.e. the ground, rather than 80,000 feet up in the air. So when we calculate, we put in the speed, top speed for the SR71, 2,200 miles. Eye height, I don't need to do that, as I said. The plane is following the contours of globe Earth, supposedly. And I get a figure of 3,010,798 feet. That essentially translates to 570 miles of curve or drop. So at this, basically the SR71, over the course of an hour going full speed, it can only go full speed up to 1.3 hours because of fuel consumption. But the SR71 going full speed at 2,200 miles an hour for an hour would essentially have to drop 570 miles to remain level on a ball. Think about that. That's what the globe mathematics is telling you. Now I'm just going to get some averages by breaking it down. I mean, it's just ridiculous, but bear with me. So this incredible plane would have to drop 570 miles an hour to remain level on a ball when it was going full speed. Just have a quick look at this diagram. Point A being the start, minute 1, point B being the 60th minute, between the 2 points of reference. According to the globe, that plane, the difference between the 2 points of reference is the plane at point B is 570 miles lower than point A. So that's just mind-boggling that that plane has to change that much in elevation over 60 minutes. Now I'm just going to break it down to get some idea of averages here. Now if I was to break down the 570 miles an hour and divide that by 60 minutes, this is just as an average to get some idea of the silly numbers involved with this globe fantasy, okay? Now if I was to divide the 570 miles by 60 minutes, I get a figure of 9.5 miles per minute supposed drop. It's ridiculous. Now if I was to break it down even more and divide that 9.5 miles per minute by 60 seconds, I get a figure of 836 feet per second. That plane would have to drop 836 feet per second on average, just breaking it down based off its base figure, which was 570 miles of drop based on an hour going full speed. Just breaking it down to get some averages, when I get down to the second mark, that plane supposedly has to, on average, drop 836 feet per second to remain level on a ball. It's ridiculous. Right, that's the height of this building. The SR71 would have to drop, okay? every second on average, just breaking it down from the hourly total of supposed curvature drop between the 2 points of reference, breaking it down just to get some idea, every second that plane flies at full speed, based on its duration of an hour, taking into account the globe mathematics and curvature, every second on average that plane would need to drop, what's going on here, the height of this building. The height of that building. Clearly ridiculous. It's obvious these planes are flying on a level plane, that when they're level, there's no deviation from the start to the finish until they start to descend. They're not being sucked and held by some imaginary force hooking to the plane, holding it round a ball. I mean, the SR71 really does expose this nonsense. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, I mean, I've just done a basic breakdown based off an hour's travel, using the SR71 as an example, giving you the curvature of globe Earth, and then just breaking it down as an example, showing you how absurd the globe mathematics are when put against reality. It's nonsensical. It's going to get even sillier if the SR72 comes out. Now, this is supposedly planned for 2023, the test flight, and hoping to be operational for 2030. The speeds supposedly of this plane, 7,400 kilometers an hour. Now, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of that. 2 secs. Now, if this plane does come into existence and its top speed broken down into miles will be 4,598 miles an hour, if that's the case and the SR72 is flying at full speed for an hour, to stay level on a ball going full speed, it will have to drop, according to the globe mathematics, 2,108 miles every hour. So it will be travelling 4,600 miles an hour and having to drop 2,108 miles an hour, having to stay level on a ball over the course of an hour between 2 points of reference. Clearly ridiculous. If I was to break that down to a minute, again, just breaking down on average the globe mathematics to just show you how silly this is. If I was to break that down by 60 minutes, the 2,108 miles of supposed curve drop, divide by 60 minutes, gives me 35 miles of supposed curve drop per minute. This plane would have to drop to stay level on a ball. And if I go all the way down to a second, divide the 35 miles by 60 seconds, I get a total of 3,080 feet per second. This plane has to drop to stay level on a ball going full speed, according to the globe mathematics, based on 1 hour of travel, and of course taking into account the globe's supposed curvature. Clearly, obviously ridiculous. Every fast plane on Earth tells you how ridiculous this globe is. The globe mathematics is just ridiculous. It's a mathematical story, and every fast plane on Earth proves it. If you're going to come up with different numbers or mathematics, you need to then build up your maths up to an hour where it actually shows the actual globe curvature over the course of an hour and matches the globe model. This highlights how silly the globe is, bearing in mind it's got no demonstrable science whatsoever. And fast aeroplanes, of course, make a mockery of this globe. I'm just showing you the speeds, breaking it down, giving you averages. The globe doesn't work when we're dealing with fast aircraft. It's that simple. Cheers.